Tyler Harrow will be eligible to sign a 3-year extension this October, worth up to $149.7 million. Prospective negotiations between the Miami Heat and their All-Star remain a point of contention among fans and armchair GMs. Really, though, the decision has already been made for the Heat. They need to wait and revisit Harrow's future and contract situation next summer. This has little to do with the 25-year-old's value to the team. He is, until further notice, their offensive engine, not only their best playmaker, but someone whose off-ball acumen can unlock doors for everyone else. Instead, this has everything to do with the Heat's prioritization of flexibility and how a handful of recent extensions prove a new deal for Harrow won't fit that vision. Don't expect Tyler Harrow to accept much less than his max. Extending Harrow becomes a borderline no-brainer if he's willing to accept a salary in line with the $31 million and $33 million, respectively, he's making this season and next year. Let's be real, though, that is not going to happen. Mikal Bridges just inked a $150 million extension that is worth slightly less than the max allowed, but that still goes out the full 4 years and pays him an average annual salary of $37.5 million. Harrow is younger than him, with a more desirable offensive skill set. De'Aaron Fox, meanwhile, put pen to paper on a 4-year max extension worth an estimated $222.4 million. That's an average annual value of $55.6 million. Harrow isn't eligible for the same type of deal, and Fox has the edge as a defender, driver, foul drawer, and maybe passer. But the difference between himself and Harrow isn't so stark that the latter and his camp won't use the agreement as a benchmark in negotiations. The Heat are better off waiting on a Harrow extension. Let's say Harrow is willing to accept an extension that pays him around $40 million per year. That is both reasonable and a contract Miami should avoid for now. The Heat are clearly emphasizing financial malleability in the summers to come. If Andrew Wiggins declines his 2026-27 player option, they could have $30+ million in cap space next offseason. If he sticks around, Miami as of now would have him, Harrow, and Davion Mitchell all coming off the books in the summer of 2027. Bam Adebayo would be the only significant commitment on the balance sheet. Free agency isn't what it used to be, but if there's any team that can fly in the face of convention, it's the Heat. Plus, cap space can be used for trades, in addition to free agent signings. So much of that flexibility goes out the window if Miami extends Harrow's current deal. What's more, because he can't sign an agreement until October, he wouldn't become trade eligible before next offseason. That isn't the end of the world, but it's a crucial detail for a Heat franchise still obsessed with acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo. Sure, he may not become available this summer or during the season. Even then, Harrow may have more appeal in prospective talks as a young star on an expiring contract, rather than someone already sharpened in for a certain amount of money. Miami can revisit this stance if Harrow is willing to take something like 3 years and $100 million in an extension. Failing that, there is no decision to make. Extending Harrow this fall doesn't currently fit the Heat's long-term plan. Norman Powell is the latest member of the Miami Heat's roster. He joined the franchise as part of a 3-team trade that saw the franchise part with Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson. In recent days, Powell has been working out with the Jamaican national team, with practices being held in Boca Raton, Florida. The location of his workouts is giving Powell an opportunity to acclimate to his new surroundings. During a recent discussion with Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald, Powell explained why he's happy to be getting a head start on adjusting to life near his new base of Miami. "It's getting me acclimated," Powell said. "It has been amazing to be welcomed here, being here in South Florida. Checking into the hotel, people already know who I am and welcome me and are excited about me being on the Heat." Powell continued, "It's been amazing being traded to the Heat, being so close to where I'll be playing and being able to go down there and go to the facility, look for a place to stay. It's definitely cool." Powell will likely be a key member of Eric Spoelstra's rotation next season. His defense, perimeter scoring, and ability to pressure the rim will all be key aspects of Miami's offensive system. Powell unlikely to move the needle for Heat. During a recent appearance on the All-NBA podcast, ESPN's Tim Legler explained why he doesn't believe Powell will be a needle-moving addition for the Heat. He's going to bring something to their team because he had his best year of his career offensively, Legler said. He's always been a guy who plays hard defensively. I guess on that alone, maybe you think there's an uptick because they were at 37 last year. They add Norman Powell, so you think 38.5 should do it. You know what it is for me? I think I'm just a little bit bored with the Heat. Legler continued. I'm going to go under, and I will probably be wrong on that because they won 37 and they added Norman Powell. Legler continued. That alone should be enough, and Kel'el Ware had a very good rookie year. Maybe he just comes out of the gate like a monster. Powell will undoubtedly add to the Heat's offensive options. However, he isn't the sort of star-level talent that will drive the franchise forward. After all, Miami is still adjusting to Jimmy Butler's exit earlier this year. Dwayne Wade stamps Heat's Powell edition. During a recent episode of his Time Out with Dwayne Wade podcast, the Heat legend shared his thoughts on his former team's latest addition. At this point of Norman Powell's career, Miami is the perfect place for him to get to that level that he was on the cusp of, Wade said. That all-star level, being one of the best players. Like he said, once Paul George left, it opened up the opportunities more for him, and he shined. Wade continued. Just a great competitor out there on the floor. That's what Miami loves. Miami loves competitors, and Norman Powell is that. That's another step in the direction that you want to see Miami turn to get this thing back on track. Powell enjoyed a stellar season for the LA Clippers during the 2024-25 campaign. In 60 games, he averaged 21.8 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. He shot 48.4% from the field and 41.8% from deep. Miami will undoubtedly be hoping he can have a similar impact for Spoelstra's rotation. Because if he does, he could force his way onto the first All-Star team of his career. And if there's one thing the Heat covets, it's additional All-Star talent. While the Miami Heat traded for Norman Powell from the Los Angeles Clippers earlier in the offseason, there is a possibility that the team isn't done finalizing the roster, which could lead into the actual season and the trade deadline. As the Heat face other dilemmas this upcoming season, there is still a chance that the team could make some deals by sending away players currently on the roster. Here, we'll highlight two options that Miami could have as trade candidates in the 2025-26 season, though it is too early to tell at present if any of the moves will happen. However, these two players have been in heavy rumors throughout the offseason, starting with Andrew Wiggins. Heat's Andrew Wiggins has been in trade rumors. There have been many rumors surrounding the Heat forward in Wiggins, who was traded from the Golden State Warriors before last season's trade deadline in the deal involving Jimmy Butler. Though for now, Wiggins is safe as the reported plan for Miami is for Wiggins to be on the team, according to the Miami Herald. But there's now some clarity on this situation, as a league source confirmed to the Miami Herald that the Heat plans to keep Wiggins on its roster for the start of next season, barring something unforeseen, Anthony Chang wrote. The Heat is intrigued to see what this mix of players can accomplish after the recent addition of veteran guard Norman Powell. Wiggins had been speculated to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, but it seems that talks never reached a serious point where a deal was imminent. Though he would have solid numbers with Miami as the third option alongside Tyler Harrow and Bam Adebayo, he would be inconsistent in health, missing 15 of the 32 games played for the team. The main reason that he is a potential trade candidate for this upcoming season is that with the trade for Powell, Wiggins' opportunity drastically lowers, leaving him to be a fourth option where other teams could use his talents. Erik Spoelstra does see a big role for Heat's Andrew Wiggins. If there is someone who disagrees with the opportunity claim, it's Miami head coach Erik Spoelstra, who spoke during Summer League about how vital Wiggins will be for the team. Wiggs had some really good moments with us, Spoelstra said, via the Miami Herald. Before he got hurt, he was exactly what we needed and wanted out of that position. I think there's still real opportunity for growth with him as he gets comfortable with us. He's already down in Miami right now and will be bringing his family in. He's going to be here most of August and September, I think, just to get more acclimated. And I think that's really important for him. It's not easy changing teams mid-season, Spoelstra continued. But you can see the possibilities of the two-way play. He's really dynamic defensively. He can guard, in our system, multiple players. Offensively, His skill set is really unique because you can go to him. We probably played him more as a go-to guy than he had been playing in that role previously. Not for better or worse. We just needed that. But he also can play off the ball, which is important. There's no denying that Wiggins can produce in any role given, but it won't be surprising if there is another team in the league that would need a player of his caliber who can provide a boost on offense and defense. Even with the Heat's shared playing style, it could be best to deal with Wiggins sometime next season. Heat's Andrew Wiggins could lose some opportunity. While the rumors around Wiggins and the Heat could reemerge when the deadline nears closer next season, there could be an effort from Spoelstra to make the fit work, despite the share size on the team dwindling with the Powell trade. Last season, in the 17 games played, Wiggins averaged 19 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game, while shooting 45.8% from the field and 36% from beyond the arc. For about a 5-week period, we were really encouraged about how he can fit, Spoelstra said, looking back at last season. I think that's going to get a lot better just as he gets more comfortable and acclimated with us, the city, everything with our team and the players. It remains to be seen how Spoelstra will utilize Wiggins right out of the gate, as when looking at a projected starting lineup, one would think it ends up being Harrow, Adebayo, Powell, Wiggins, and possibly Kel'el Ware. The impressive rookie from last season, in Ware, could be replaced with Nikola Jovic if Spoelstra wants a smaller lineup. Still, it will be monitored how Wiggins fits with the lineup. Heat's Terry Rozier has been in recent trade talks. When looking at the situation with Heat guard Terry Rozier, it feels like he's the easy answer for a lot of people when naming trade candidates on the team. However, there's no doubt that Rozier wants to prove all the doubters wrong, even if there will be constant trade rumors around him. There have been many recent reports saying that an offer was on the table for a swap between Rozier and Washington Wizards guard Marcus Smart. Though NBA insider Jake Fisher would say that the franchise wasn't compelled to say that it was a clear upgrade. Miami weighed a Rozier for Smart swap, but could not reach an organizational consensus on whether such a trade was a clear upgrade, Fisher wrote. Heat was against the swap involving Terry Rozier. Despite being unable to agree with the Wizards, it was reported by the Miami Herald that the team remains open to dealing Rozier in the build-up to the start of the season. Rozier was traded to the Heat in the 2024 trade deadline for a first-round pick and Kyle Lowry, a deal that ended up with disappointing results thus far. This past season has been arguably Rozier's worst season in the NBA, as despite starting the season and being predicted to be a top offensive player for them, he lost playing time, while his performance slipped. He ended up averaging 10.6 points per game on 39.1% shooting from the field and 29.5% shooting from deep. Multiple league sources confirmed those trade talks between the Heat and Wizards took place this summer, Chang wrote. While a Rozier for Smart swap would have made sense for the Heat because Smart was on a cheaper expiring contract, $21.6 million salary for this upcoming season prior to agreeing to a buyout with the Wizards, then Rozier's expiring deal, $26.6 million salary for this upcoming season. A league source indicated the Heat ultimately did not make the trade because of the draft capital it would have needed to attach to Rozier to facilitate such a deal. Not to mention that Rozier is still under federal investigation as part of a sports betting scandal from when he was with the Charlotte Hornets. It's important to remember that there have been no findings of wrongdoing as of late. Despite talks, both Heat players are looking to improve. It remains to be seen what ends up happening with Wiggins and Rozier in regards to their status with the Heat, but one has to figure that the team and the two players will focus on bettering themselves for this season. Wiggins, Rozier, and Miami look to improve after finishing 37-45, which put them 10th in the Eastern Conference.